Hey Space Watchers, and welcome from Munich. It is day number 0 of the 60th Munich Security Conference, and as here we are in the Künstlerhaus where there was a side event, one of the many side events in the next days. And this side event was by the BDI, and it was the New Space Symposium, it was called. The topic was security and how the Bundeswehr can increase their purchase of space equipment and so on and so forth. So security is one of the main issues here, and that's not just security that's provided by satellites, that's also the security in space. And that's why I am here with Dr. Ernst Pfeiffer, the CEO of HPS here in Munich, who is an avid fighter for space sustainability. And we had Ernst here a few times in our conversations, in our clips, in our radios, to talk about how we can increase space safety, space security on the topic of the space situational awareness. Ernst, welcome, first of all.
Thank you very much.
You have been traveling a lot the last days. So the first I have in mind was Munich, not Munich, Vienna.
Vienna, yes. Vienna was the
It's
first
like
time.
Munich, but in Austria. So that's it for the
Vienna is also one of my favorite cities.
Absolutely. In Vienna, there was the UNOOSA workshop on space sustainability.
Yes,
Can you talk about
correct.
that? What happened there?
So, it seems that the awareness of the problem with space debris and all this awareness is a lot increased. So it was very nice to experience by person the discussion on global level. So not only Germany or not only Europe, not only Europe and US, globally. So it was for me nice to see and happy to see that there is one forum, the United Nations, that the people talk. So the Russians, with US, Iran, China, France, Spain, Germany, and so on. Yeah, all talk together on sustainability, and I have seen that the awareness is quite increased. Of course, it is not so easy to find a common language. It is there are discussions for 1 hour for 5 lines, for example. Everybody has it, but they talk, and it goes into the direction that we need a common sense that we do not end in a catastrophe. And if we have a catastrophe in space with space debris and collision and so on, this will impact also the security of army satellites, which is for sure also a topic here in the Munich Security Conference. Because if an army satellite is hit by a particle, then shut down. This is a problem.
It's the same. So, and I think what you just described is, and I read it between the lines, is that also industry was invited by the UN, not just the governmental delegations were there, also industry
Exactly.
and could raise their voice.
This was really quite new. And explicitly, there have been industry invited by the new president there in order to hear the voice of industry. And for me, it was quite nice that I'm not bound to any rules, conditions, or whatever. So I could say what I want, and this was explicitly appreciated. For example, the panel chair of my panel was from India, and he came to me afterwards and said, yes, we need clear words, which normally is not said at these workshops. There was somebody from Switzerland, from Japan, and so on. Different opinions and.
Any concrete takeaways?
Yeah, takeaway I would say is that we need all similar guidelines. If there are not similar guidelines in the world, there are industries which have an advantage. It is also a step-by-step approach which we must do, so we cannot implement measures against space debris one fits all. Especially here, I commented that we need, as a first step, to take care on LEO. not on Geo, Neo, Leo, everything. Then Moon is also, by the way, coming to raise. What you do there with regard to sustainability.
Absolutely. So, and then you flew to Riyadh to a space debris workshop organized by the CST and the Saudi Arabian
Space Agency. Correct. This was just for a 72-hour trip. So traveling by night, being on the panel by day, but also very interesting. Outside Europe, and you see the velocity. Even if you fly around the airports, and you see the velocity, what is happening there. And also there was the world. I was invited as speaker there with their very kind hospitality. And there have been high levels talking from industry, from US, also Russian, Ukrainians, Europeans, from Japan, and so on. Egypt, Emirates. And there I did not see on the panel nobody who smiled. And this was one of the most impacting takeaways for me personally. So everybody there was concerned of the situation which we have there. Everybody. Because for the industry, if there is a catastrophe in space by making the space unusable, it's end of business for the companies. And it's end of possibility for security, military satellites, and so on, communication. So everybody was quite serious, and in the meetings before, in the past years, I never saw such concern in the faces. There was quite a lot of statistics, solutions, policies, space law, discussions, and it was interesting to see how committed the Saudi Arabian Space Agency is to sustainable space and to make something against space debris. So they do care. On the stage have been also many female speakers, also Saudi Arabian speakers and panel chairs. And I saw here in the young faces in the auditorium, was also very interesting. They are very motivated to do something. They are in the box to start and to do something for space and against space debris. One thing I promoted also there very seriously is the point that we have to start with some measures. And one of the simplest measure could be...
That's just a military aircraft what is hovering over us here. So don't worry, it's a security conference. It's an A400, so that's what we can see.
No more parachutes.
And no parachutes. So.
Munich will be full these days, and for us Munich inhabitants and aborigines, as I am, it is extraordinary days here. So one of my messages was really to implement the 5 years deorbit rule, which means when a satellite is out of business, by chance or by nominal out of business, there must be a maximum time remaining in orbit, which shall be 5 years. So, and this is a national rule. This must be a national rule. This cannot be implemented by guidelines, by associations, and so on. So the nations are in duty to implement these rules. ESA is also working on that with the Zero Debris Charter. And this is a clear message. It is an easy rule everybody understands, which is, by the way, also recommended by the FCC. And SpaceX is implementing the rules of FCC.
That's right.
So this is what I promoted, and I asked the Saudi Arabian Space Agency to be one of the role models implementing this rule. It was 2 days with a lot of talks, a lot of business cards. You know, I'm a little bit more old school, so I collect business cards better than have it in my mobile.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you very much for this summary of these two events. I will be back to you with some more reports here from the Munich Security Conference over the next days. So tomorrow here is another side event, very interesting, the Space Night. You can find the link on our website for that. So, and maybe we see each other there, say hi, and with that, a wonderful day and Space Watch out. Bye.